Hey everybody, back for another video here. I'm going to talk about kind of resequencing the finish or rebuilding the finish to help you improve the sequencing of your downswing and to help you slow down the face rotation if you're someone who struggles with the face overtaking your body's rotation too much, leading to overdraws or pulls. So just using Crystal here as the example. She swings it really good. She's grade 9 right now. In this first video, this was actually last year, so she was actually in grade 8. But we kind of show you kind of like a 1 year difference in terms of what we're working on during the winter time. We don't really work on too much in the summer, just kind of maintenance stuff. She had a really good year. A couple second place finishes in the provincial championships in the U15 and U17 age tournament, and she still played pretty good in the older stuff as well. She peaked for the U15 and U17 just because it was later in the year. So really excited for her to see what she does this coming summer and beyond whenever the season does start. But Crystal, as you guys can see, I'm going to show you guys a video here. Very draw biased swing, as you guys can see. Good speeds, push draws, but quite draw biased. So what she struggles with sometimes is if things get a little sloppy, she hits overdraws or straight draws or straight hooks. So you can see here she's hitting really good push draws here. She actually, if she plays well, she'll hit like 15-16 greens. If she doesn't play well, she'll probably hit 10 to 12, which is still pretty good, but we want to help give her the opportunity to hit 15-16 greens more often. So what we try to work on here, what we worked on this current winter a couple months ago, I'm going to walk you guys through, is aside from making her swing a little bit less draw biased, I really worked on trying to help her resequence her finish. So the focus of this video will be talking about resequencing the finish. We can talk about the other stuff if you guys want in future videos, but I think resequencing the finish is a big thing for most amateur players because a lot of amateur players, you'll see their lead arm break down in the finish. You see here when Crystal follows through, her lead arm there, her left arm as a right-handed golfer is already very bent. You see that? As a result, the face is way turned already. The face rotation is going crazy because when you get a right-handed golfer with that bent of a left arm in your finish, that's usually accompanied by the face super closed into the follow-through as well. And as a result, you can see when she continues with that finish, you're going to see her bounce around a bit. She doesn't really control her arms and club too much. The arms and clubs kind of controlling the rest of her movements, which we don't want. At the end of the day, we want yourself to control the swing. We don't want the swing to control you or control how you move. So when we look at it from the face-on view, I mean, again, good-looking swing, but when she finishes, you can see her finish is actually quite flimsy. Her arms and wrists just kind of collapse into that finish. It doesn't look terrible, but it's not ideal for helping her become stronger and to help her use her body better so that her arms, you can see quite a bit of pull down here. Her arms, when she pulls down, usually will outrace the body's rotation, which is why when the arms get too ahead of the torso turn, or you can think of it as the arms winning the race towards the finish, that gets us this very folded look, okay? We don't really like that. Her hands are very high in her exit as well, which we don't really like, especially as a better player. So we worked on really focusing that this winter. So when we look at the next video, I'm going to show you the drill I had her do to kind of break it down for her. So I'm going to show you guys the down the line side by side first. So this was earlier this off season, 2020. So I think this was probably January or December 2019. And the video on the left is, I think, January 2019. So video on the right here, I had her break apart her finish. I just had to do a rehearsal. So I had her break apart her finish here. You can see straight arm finish. I do a lot of straight arm finishes with her because it's really hard for you to finish with straight arms if your body overtakes, if your arms overtake the body's rotation. The only way for your arms to finish straight is if your body keeps turning. And as you can see, she turns much better here. Her hands don't pull down as much. She rotates a lot more. So actually, as a result, you can see impact looks quite different. Video on the left, hands pull straight down with minimal rotation. Video on the left, she's not pulling down as much, which is nice to see. And coming into impact, you can see right heel still on the ground, which I like for her. And you can see as she follows through, her left arm is still straight compared to her left arm folding up. So I do a lot of straight arm finishes with her. So that was the first step. And then I had her, you can see I asked her to rehinge her wrist after that. So I had her, what I do with her is, and a few of my other clients who we kind of work through, is I have them finish straight arm finish, hold it, squeeze glute, squeeze core tall finish. Then I have them rehinge the wrist or release the wrist as much as they can. So you can see the wrist right there has been rehinged. And then I give them a little bit of a slight arm fold to get to the full finish like that. So kind of breaking them into 3 different pieces for now so that eventually it flows together. But that just teaches them the sequencing of how the body rotates to the long arm finish, to the release of the wrist or the rehinge of the wrist, to the slight refold of the arms to finish. Because typically when people finish like Crystal on the left, it's more so they pull their hands down, angles are being held for too long, the arms fold up, and then the wrist release. And it's just, that's not the right sequencing in terms of how we want to release the club. So if you do that in the finish, you're probably not releasing the club properly. So this is why we do it. So as we progress, actually when we look at the face-on view, you're going to see here, again, so Crystal swings it well, but flimsy finish, which we don't like. And then on the video on the right here, you can see I have her break it apart. A little bit of a rehinge and then a little bit of a refold. So much different finish there, as you guys can see. Not so overrode, not as left elbow behind the left rib cage, which I don't want. And she's much taller here as well. Tall and extended. She's not leaning to the screen or target as much. So when we go into the real thing, when she swings, love the straight arm finish. Then slight rehinge, then slight refold. Love that. So that's a much better looking finish in my opinion, where she's tall and extended. She's squeezing the glutes, as opposed to the video on the left. She's leaning to the target because she's over rotated because her left elbow, her left arm has gone too far behind her rib cage. So I don't like that on the left. I like it more on the right. So as we keep progressing, kind of like a month later, you can see more straight arm drills, but this time, because we've done a straight arm drill more, I'm going to put the older timeline video on the left and the newer timeline video on the right. So video on the left was what I just showed you down the line where I had her break it apart. And you can see even breaking it apart, her straight arm finish was a little flimsy at the end where she kind of bounced a little bit and the arms folded just a teeny bit. Video on the right, we've been working at it a little bit. You can see her arms are much straighter here. So really exaggerate that. Her wrists are not as rehinged either compared to video on the left. So you can see a little bit more of a straight arm finish, no wrist and arms overtaking the rotation. I really like the swing on the right for Crystal. So as we continued, closer to, I think this was, I want to say late February now. So I really like where the swing is at now. She's hitting a little push draws still, but more neutral. So the original video, she was more like 7-8 degrees inside out. Now she's hovering around 3-ish, kind of 3-ish into out, 3-ish down angle of attack, hitting very nice push draws that don't over curve. And you can see when she finishes now, she holds her finish a lot better. Aside from obvious changes in the backswing and transition. Club shallows out. You can see when she finishes now, the arms are a lot straighter before she lets the wrist rehinge. So really like that. She swings through, exits low, long arms, and then rehinges and folds. So I like that finish a lot more. Flows a lot better. I like that a lot. And then video on the right, the face-on view looked really good too. You can see when she finishes, long arm finish, and then she rehinges and refolds. Nice tall finish here, and not as flimsy with the arms and the wrist. Much firmer there, which I really like. So we compare these side by side. Again, I'm going to put the older video on the left and the newer video on the right. You can see big difference in terms of how she finishes and follows through. So if we look at it side by side, you can see when she follows through, really fold it here. Face has overtaken quite a bit. Video on the right. Arm is much longer there, which I like. Really like that. So hard to see, kind of blurry here. Face is as overtaken, but I love how her arms are much longer as she follows through, and she actually finishes a lot different there compared to, you can see she bounces a lot more on the left, and her elbow is way past her ribcage and she's over rotated more. So comparing the face-on videos now. Flimsy finish compared to video on the right. Much stronger finish there, as you guys can see. So just as a one extra video, even when the driver, she's holding her finish in the driver a lot more than she was actually holding her finish with a 7-iron from a year ago. So really like where this is at. I didn't even realize that was a high speed, but this is good swing. So you can see driver here, she swings it kind of low to mid 90s, ball speed low to mid 130s at the moment. Was hoping to squeeze it up to 140 before the season started, but again, with what's going on, we can live with that for now. Still plenty of speed to play with at grade 9. But you can see even with a driver, she holds her finish much more solidly now. So hope that makes sense. If you're someone who struggles with hitting hooks or overdraws or pulls, I would look at kind of how you finish to see what you have to work on. So this is a common issue I see with a lot of amateur golfers. Arms overtake the torso's rotation in the swing, in the downswing. So then the lead arm breaks down to the classic chicken wing, you want to call it, which will lead to the face overtaking as well. So at the end of the day, don't let the swing move you. You got to move the swing. You got to let your body control the movement, not the club control you. So hope that makes sense. Do this drill if you're someone who struggles with this. Straight arm, hold your finish, then rehinge, hold your finish, then refold a little bit, just like this. I'll show you guys one more time on the left here. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to swing, hold your finish, straight arms, then rehinge, hold your finish, and then refold and hold your finish, just to break it apart so it really sequences you 1, 2, 3. Then you connect the dots at the end of the day. So straight arm finish, then rehinge, then refold. So eventually you can piece it together, connect the dots so that the sequencing is more proper with the straight arms to rehinge to refold. So hope that makes sense, guys. Any questions, leave in the comments below. I'm really happy to see what Crystal's been able to do over the last few years. Excited to see what happens in the near future. But stay safe, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks, guys.